Hey everyone, I'm Tom Wilkie here in Brisbane, Australia. Welcome to the Metal Lair interviews. I'm here talking with Travis Everett from Witchgrinder. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us today, Travis.
That's all right, man. Good.
You guys had a gig in Sydney just before, right? How'd that go?
Yeah, just last night. It was amazing. It
Yeah?
was really, really fun. A lot of friends, a lot of new faces. Our last enemy were on. It was just us and our last enemy. Those guys are good mates with us, but they were just on fire as well. Everyone was just in a really good mood. So, just made it really cool.
That's awesome. Did it get kind of rowdy at all, or?
Oh yeah, it was rowdy. I think it was rowdy before our last enemy came on. It was a pretty late gig. Like bands didn't start till 10. They were on at 10. We were on at 11. So and the doors for the night or whatever you'd say were started at 7. So people were pretty. They'd had a fair bit to drink by the time the bands got on and that. So
That's what you want, man.
it's great. Mm.
Now, you've just released a brand new album, Nothing Stays Buried. I had a very good solid listen myself, and I'd say this would be probably your biggest album to date. You've clearly put a lot of effort into your production, some very well thought out songs in there. I noticed a bit of a change up though in the style compared to your previous album, Haunted. I was just wondering what kind of influences sent you guys in that direction.
Um, Honestly, there's different members from when it was we put out the Haunted as the band. I think a lot to do with the idea here was the guitarist Scotty. He when he came into the band, me and him had always bonded before. Like I'd known him for a long time. We always bonded off old White Zombie and Pantera and Metallica and that like late 80s and early 90s style of metal. So and he plays like that. He played in a bunch of thrash bands. So just with that, I think we just put a bit more into the riffs, and there's a lot more soloing guitar work where he's not just following, like he's doing a lot of other melodic stuff over the main riffs, and it just fell like that. I'm not really sure. We didn't overthink what style we wanted to do it. We just wanted the sound at Witch Grinder, but just where we were at as players.
Ah, that makes
Um,
perfect sense.
yeah, I
And
hope so because it didn't make sense when it was coming out of my mouth. Then
no, it
bit
turned out
tired.
great, man. It was a good change up, like I loved Haunted, but the new one it's a little different. But it's kind of taken me back a little bit to the early 2000s. Am I wrong
Yep.
in thinking that?
No, that's quite fine. There were so many um there's so many influences by so many bands and eras of music in this album that we've just kind of mashed all in together our favorite stuff. So, I mean, a lot of people hear a lot of different things. There's some stuff that just is, completely in our subconscious. We've put it down, and it's come from somewhere.
Yeah,
Like we haven't,
nostalgic
we're
memory.
not,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not reinventing the wheel here. You know what I mean? Like we're just playing like stuff that we already like and that's been done. But I think because we're taking it all these good bits from all these bands that we like that are completely different bands and styles, and then putting it, yeah, like into that one. I think that's why you hear so many people hear different things and they got their idea of where they've heard parts. But yeah, to put
Yeah,
it into, yeah. So I don't know.
that's cool. Did you guys begin
Hmm.
writing this album right after Haunted, or was there a different focus during the 4 year gap?
No, there was just after Haunted, the band, not long after we released the Haunted, the band kind of, well, we all parted ways.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, Witch Grinder, because I like, I obviously really love the Witch Grinder sound and all that, so I wanted to keep it, but I wasn't sure if a name change or what to do. but then I thought, well, I'll just grab some tour, like some members to tour the band with.
Yeah.
So we started. I got some members in, and then we just started playing around, and then we wrote a single or two over the few years. But there was never really a full set lineup to sit there and think, oh, am I going to write an album? I wasn't sure what like I said, I was just, the future was unsure for the band until I had a bunch of riffs and little bits of songs, but nothing in as a full song or any ideas until this lineup that is now with Scotty, Jake, and Shelvo was really, that's when I knew that everyone's in the same headspace. Everyone wants to play new music. We want to tour. We want to get, like, we're hungry again. You know what I mean? We want to go out there and do this. So um, once that was all coming together, I was like, okay, I've got all these riffs. Let's sit down. Let's make an album.
Nice. I'll
That's
take
how
it.
that came about.
I take it it's going well with the new lineup. You guys have a pretty good, some,
Yeah. Well,
synchronization there.
it was our first. We've been on the like road to get all together, but usually we're flown and you know, yeah, flown to other states and done all that. But yesterday we got up at 6 a.m. and drove to Sydney. Got on sound checks, went and got some food, then went back to the gig, played, packed up. So we were just around. We've been around each other. So we're just pulled over. We're actually on our way to Canberra now to play there tonight.
Nice.
Uh, we've just pulled out at a mate's a couple of hours out of Sydney, so I could do this interview, but also we could rest our feet and all that. But I mean, us four guys stuck in a car with frigging guitars and everything, and like just boys being boys.
Mm.
It's getting like stinky in the car already,
Yep.
like dirty socks and bit
Yep.
of gas getting.
Man, touring is
No, it's
intense,
good
so I
stuff.
appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, in the middle of all of
Oh,
that.
that's all right, man. Anytime. I would have just done it in the car if we hadn't pulled over, but it was just good timing. But yeah, so I mean we're not killing each other yet. It's only the
Right?
start, but no, everyone's just they're so happy. Like everyone's just pumped. We're just in a good mood. We're all in a good headspace. We just want to go out there and kick some ass. Like
That's how you go places, man. That sounds like the way you want it.
yeah,
Well, I really love the Pet Sematary references that you've got in this new album. I'm wondering, is that you that brought
yeah,
that in?
yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah, big
That's
fan.
yeah, it's probably, well, I don't really have a favorite horror movie, but if I was to have maybe a top five, that would be in there, if not number one.
Yep.
I just think it's an awesome story. It has so much in it, that 80s. I've never read the book actually. I've only seen the 80s movie.
What about
And I've seen the remake and
what did you think of
also
the
the other.
remake?
Oh, look, I don't look at remakes like a lot of people whinge about when a horror movie or any movie gets remade. They get really really upset about it, and I've never really understood that because I'm like, you can still watch the old one. I guess if it's got a place in your heart, that's so strong. I can see why they'd be a bit protective and want to keep it, but I don't. For me, I don't care if a movie gets redone, like, because I'm like, I've still got the old one.
Yeah.
I can watch that. I like seeing it from a different point of view. But no, yeah, there's nowhere near anything compared to that 80s version. Of course not.
Sure.
It was never going to be. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just yeah.
They did
Yeah, it
keep
was a
it
bit
like
stupid.
mostly the same, but there were some changes definitely. But
Yeah, there was a few little changes. But even that, it just wasn't filmed as good. It didn't have as good as the only one of the best remakes of a Stephen King thing I thought was It Part One.
yeah,
The most recent, It, like, not Part Two. I didn't think was that great. But Part One, I thought was better than the '80s It one that came out on TV. I mean, I love Tim Curry
yeah,
as Pennywise, but
yeah.
this Pennywise was just freaking amazing. Like,
Bill
Oh,
Skarsgård,
it
yeah,
was
he
it
does
was
like the
scary.
eye thing. He does that in real life too.
Yeah,
It's not even
and with
CGI.
his
It's cool.
like gets his like lip going. I don't know how
Yeah,
he does it.
yeah,
He
yeah.
can do it without squeezing it.
Yeah, I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. That was, yeah, I agree with you on that one. Yeah.
And
Um,
he's the new Crow as well.
yeah, yeah, he's in a lot of stuff at the moment. I quite like that actor actually. Yeah, I agree.
Because I know people are getting very upset on the new Crow, even though it hasn't come out yet, but they're already hating on it.
Yeah,
And I kind of do understand that, but come on, just go see another Crow at the movies. It'll be fun.
but like
You
you
don't
said, man,
have to like it.
like you said, the old one's still there. So
Well, that's it. And the old one is timeless. It's never gonna. It's always gonna be there.
yeah,
If this movie flops or it's good, it's just like cool. Well, we got another good movie, or cool, we got another shit one. So we just won't believe that exists.
yep,
We'll stick to Brandon Lee. Anyway, band questions, not movies.
yeah. Back on
Let's
topic.
go.
Back on topic. That's right.
I know. So that's my fault, man.
No, that's all right, man. I do the same thing. I noticed you guys released the album independently from a record label. What was it that led your
Yep.
decision to release without label support?
Um, the labels didn't offer us anything that we couldn't do ourselves.
Yeah,
We didn't think we got enough good enough deals from them. They were all, not willing to take a big enough risk and put in enough money for us, where we knew we could raise enough money and do it ourselves, especially with like the social medias and
yep,
things like that, and having, even though I think Spotify's the devil, um, well, not the devil, but I mean, the money wise, yes, it's the devil. Um, we could just get our music out there and get some good PR, which we've got an awesome dude, Chris, who I think's been in contact with you, who would have hooked up this interview probably.
yeah,
So we've got him just marketing it for us. We're pushing it as much as we can, and as you know, like we're touring it, so we can do all this ourselves. So it was like, why get a record company in to take our money?
yep,
That weren't really offering us a good deal. And then there was a thing of yeah, just if we didn't go with a label, we could have went with a distribution label. But then we're like, we can just send it out ourselves. The only problem there was, posting stuff overseas is very, very expensive. So it would have been nice to have an overseas. I mean, we could still sort that out at some stage when we're touring there. So,
yeah.
um, but yeah, no, like, yeah. Answer is just none of the deals, uh, record labels were offering us anything that we were, you know, interested in.
Yeah, well, you're not alone, man. There's lots of people going in that direction at the moment, and not just
Yeah,
in metal, but in a lot of different genres. People are getting a bit tired
yeah,
of it. So fair
yeah,
enough. Yeah.
yeah. It was kind of a big,
Yeah,
tour.
pretty much, man. No, I
Well,
hear that. Yeah.
because I mean, it'd be great. We're not saying that we wouldn't be on a label, because of course we would.
But one
But
that
yeah,
treats you
just
right.
yeah. If you can do it all yourself, we've been doing this for a long time, so we've all had releases before and done things, so we know just as much as the next person. It was more about the money,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the future, do you have any specific aspirations for the band? Like how far
Mhm.
do you want to take this, really?
Um, it's not really how far we want to take it. It's more just like just what's going to be fun for us in the next step. Like, obviously, we were in the car for like 10 hours or something yesterday. So we had a lot of time to talk, and all the talk. And, we've all got our phones or laptops in there, and we're emailing people and all that. And we've been talking to bookers over in Europe and Japan, and they're all offering us things for next year. So we were all just sitting back going, well, let's start locking stuff in for Europe and Japan next year, and then we will come back and we'll start writing again. Um, Maybe do another album or do an EP, and then we just kind of all just been talking to each other, going, is everyone on the same boat? Like, do we just want to play? Do we want to just go overseas and just do it? And everyone's like, yeah. So we're just looking for the next fun thing. We're not really worried about um, yeah, not trying to. We've got no goals in band wise to get anywhere. We just want to get out there and play.
Fair enough.
Mm,
I've heard you guys continued writing after you finished with Nothing Stays Buried, and you plan on making a new
yeah.
album sometime next year. Is there anything else that you could maybe tell us about the new one?
Oh no, no, there won't be an album next year.
Oh, okay, that might have been a rumor or
Uh,
something then.
yeah, maybe I said we'll be writing a bit next year.
Ah,
But we have started. We've got a little bit of stuff left over, and we're going to be working on that. But next year we'll work. If we're going to just be focusing on the international tours, we will write a lot in between those because they won't be too. It's not like we'll be over there for a huge amount of times, a month maybe,
okay.
and then come back. So we'll be writing all the rest of the year, and you know, um, so a new album or EP or anything wouldn't be out till 2026.
Okay.
So there'll be a year break or a year and a half
Yeah, that's not too bad,
to a 2 year.
tours and all
Yeah,
that.
that's quite normal, I think. Like we've just been like this one only came out 2 weeks ago, so we can't we don't want to go too crazy here.
It was just
I mean,
something
we
I
do.
heard, but I think someone got the wrong information on that one. But I heard
Oh,
it
I
from
probably
you, so
yeah, I might have said something that sounded a little similar because I did say that we'd be working on stuff and it won't be long until an album comes out. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't think it'll be out next year. I think we'll just be touring this new album next year as well. Still tour Australia with it this year, tour internationally next year, and then come back and then hopefully we can hit the studio and put something else out for everyone. But I think we need to sit back and enjoy what we've just accomplished.
of course,
Yeah.
of course. We got a fan submitted question here. Were the vampire themes in Queen of Sin based on anything in particular, perhaps even Anne Rice's work?
No, the vampire references weren't actually a thing that was planned prior to the film clip shoot. Um, the There's some fangs in it, but that was literally because one of the girls did have vampire fangs. Um, yeah, so we just got a cool shot of that, and there's a part where there's like wine or blood. You don't really know what, like it's just red. I think it was meant to be wine at the start, but then we thought it looks more like blood if we're pouring it down. So the vampire references are really just it's kind of just your interpretation if that's what people are getting from it, if
Okay.
that makes sense. Like I mean, it's the Queen of Sin, so they could be vampires sitting up with the Queen of Sin, or they're just beasts. We don't really know. That's the beauty of it. If you want to believe it's vampires, you can,
Open to
because there's no rule.
interpretation.
Because we don't know the answer either. We were just there playing in the dungeon
Yeah.
in the
No, I
Queen's
like that.
Lair. Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
So there's a lot of cool things. Like we don't know what was in the case that dude shown to the Queen at the end that gets her attention, and she liked that and went to let him through, but his fate was sealed with all the women that eating him or attacking him, whatever they done to him. So I mean, yeah, look, it's for the viewer to come up with their idea. The band's got our little like we've got our idea about it that we'll keep secret from everyone else. We like hearing what other people think.
Cool.
That's kind of with our music in a little way. Like even though they are based on 80s horror, we've left some. There are a couple of songs there where the lyrics and all that are a bit put like that, so you can make your own story out of it, really. And I like when you get to do that with some songs. It makes it a bit funner.
Open to interpretation. I love it. It's good.
That's it. Yeah.
So, when you guys started with the old lineup, how did you guys meet and what inspired you to start a band in the first place?
The old lineup, I grew up with the drummer. in a small country town, and we were already in a band previous to that, which was called 13 Monkeys, spelt with a Z at the end.
Yeah.
New metal style. Just trying to think what bands we kind of sounded like. Like we were big into Corn and Static X and all those kind of things. You know, a bit of Limp Bizkit, a bit of Linkin Park, and there was heaps of stuff in that band. But anyway, we kind of the bass player had taken off overseas a few times, and then we just weren't doing anything musically. It just kind of it stopped. It never like we never said this was the end of that band or anything. We just kind of just stopped playing, and no one missed us.
I'm sure
uh,
somebody did.
no, we had a few. We had a few. People still ask about it to me sometimes. So me and the drummer just went, well, we want to keep playing. What are we going to do? And I remember sitting up at a club, an alternative club, and the bands. It was like late at night, and I'd had a fair bit to drink, so I was just like sitting back on a couch at this club and watching all these, you know, goth kids and metal kids and just a big alternative crowd dancing to like I think it like Manson come on first, then Ramstein, and then Rob Zombie. All those bands that I was like, I love all these songs, and obviously everyone does here. And I was thinking, why isn't there a band in Australia? Like I couldn't name one band in Australia at that time doing anything like that. And I was like, why? Why isn't there a band doing this stuff? Like everyone loves it. Like it's cool. So I think I literally went home that night and was thinking, just having a little like, I don't know, think about it. And then I woke up the next morning and I rang that drummer and said, let's start like a band with all those bands that we love and let's mix it all together and try do our own thing. And especially like Metallica being a big influence on me. That's why I always still wanted to keep leads and things like that in it. But yeah, so we just got together and I think we lent someone's like synthesizer and we started making samples and I started finding all these old samples from old movies and things like that. And we just started jamming out and playing it, just me and the drummer, for about a year, I think. And then we went looking, found a bass player and a guitarist, and that's how it all just started.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
And
definitely I hear a little bit of the new metal influence, very slightly, and I like it. The
yeah,
early 2000s Corn, as you said, etc.
yeah. I think even on that, like the newer stuff that is written for Witchgrinder for the next album has a few more of those real bouncy new. Like we're still going to keep those thrashy old style riffs, but like a lot of the breakdowns are very new metalish. Because the new songs we've actually for after see none of it's really been put together, so I can't really talk or say too much about it because it's just not done. But we have detuned for the more recent riffs. They're all detuned on it. So yeah, it'll be crazy to see what we come up with, especially after we go tour this album and hear what people like about the band and where we're at in our head and whatever we're listening to. Yeah, I won't be able to tell you what the new album will sound like after that.
Okay. Well, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, you've
I
got the newest one to listen to now first.
yeah. Well, I have already like quite a few times. I'm quite enjoying it personally. You guys really starting to pick up in the US at the moment. We found that a lot of our US followers know and really love Witchgrinder. We're just wondering, do you have a plan on going to the US for a tour, perhaps?
We'd love to, but I think we're going to get this Europe out of the way because it's a lot harder to get, to the States, and it's a lot more money, a lot more organization. So I think once we get that out of the road, we'd love to get over there. But it is, I don't know where you got that from, but it's great because I literally went on to what did I look at the other day? I looked at the stats of our Spotify and the stats of the Queen of Sin film clip, and the most views and everything. Like US is the top.
Yep.
Like all our lists, like we've got the most listeners and everything in the States. I don't know if that's just bigger and because it's more American style music, or I don't know how it's getting picked up there, but it is,
It
and
is.
they're enjoying it heaps.
Yep.
Second under that's Australia, then it's Germany and Poland, and then it's Japan,
I think
and that
Sweden's in
that
there.
yeah,
Stockholm,
I'll bet
Sweden.
definitely be there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All Europe's good. Yeah, so it's like States, Australia, Europe, and then yeah, Japan and things like that. And then it all kind of just fizzles off into. We're still getting a lot of views everywhere, but it's yeah, they're the top main ones. Yeah,
Yeah, I think they'd
I'd
love you
love to
over
get
there.
over with that.
They'd love you
Yeah,
guys. Yeah.
we'd love to be there. I
One
mean, we've
day.
toured with a bunch of bands from the States before, so maybe one of those bands might we might be able to hit up one of them and ask if we can jump on a tour with them. See what happens.
Sounds good. I got a silly question that we like to ask sometimes. If you guys never started the band in the first place, what would you be doing instead?
I'd be in another band, of course. But do you mean if I couldn't play music?
Yeah, sure. What's something besides music that you would be doing?
I reckon I'd be in jail.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
That's the
because I
same
have idle
same as us.
hands.
Yeah.
Um, no, I look. I don't know because yeah, people have asked me this before, but I because music it takes up so much of my time, and I'm constantly thinking or listening to music or writing or thinking about what we're doing for tours or artwork or anything. It really, really, even at work when I'm at my job, which I love, my day job, I'm sitting there doing my day job and thinking about music or listening to music. And I feel like if that wasn't a part of my life, I'd feel very lost because I do feel lost when I'm not, you know, don't have an outlet or the band's, got to sit still for a little while. I feel yeah, like it gets a bit, I get a little bit like down and depressed and I need some kind of outlet. So I think I'd hate if I didn't have that. I feel like I'd probably get into trouble trying to fill that gap with something that'd probably be dangerous. Um, yeah,
I think a
I'd
lot of
hate to
people
go
can
down.
relate.
I hate thinking about it to be honest, because yeah, it's just so I just love it so much, man. And like with the band comes so many rewards. I mean, there's so much hard like bad stuff, but like last night was a perfect example of coming up to Sydney with a bunch of my best mates who are all in the band, and then going to see all these people from Sydney that we hadn't seen for so long, um, and getting to say hi and run around and talk music or talk whatever they've been up to, and then meeting new people who were coming up to us and like enjoying the album, playing with the Our Last Enemy boys, catching up with them again. Like it's just so fun. So it's just yeah, it just keeps it all. I think I speak for everyone in the band or any musician really, a real musician. They know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think a lot of people can relate, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, do you have anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yes. Thank you for sticking with us this whole time. If you're new, thank you for in any way how you discovered us. Hopefully, it's word of mouth from our other fans. You know, hang in there and we'll try to do the best we can for you. Yeah, go check out our new album if you haven't. Um, help support us. Come to a show. Come to a show. Come rock out with us. We're just like I said. We're all happy. We're just in the mood to party and get this stuff happening. So yeah, just really thank you. Really,
Beautiful. And that's the brand new album, Nothing Stays Buried by Witchgrinder, just came out. You check it out, guys. Really recommend. Thanks again for your time, Trevor. Travis.
that's all right. No worries, Tom.
Good luck at your show at Canberra, man.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much, and
And
thanks
drive
thanks
safe.
for taking your time to interview me.
Of course, man. That was fun. No problem at all. You have a nice day, yeah?
All right, dude.
Catch ya.